Alright guys, what is going on? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to a new video. Just out here getting a little bit of sunlight in my eyes. It's really important that we do that when the sun starts coming up in the morning. It's really important that we do this at midday. And it's really important that we do this when the sun goes down, ladies and gentlemen. You want to reset your internal sundial to be in tune with the natural progression of the sun throughout the day, the rising and the setting of the sun. So the effects that this can have on you over time are drastic. Resetting your environmental switches, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to get into a huge rant about that in this video, but I am going to say that it is absolutely essential that you look into this if you're interested in achieving greater health in a sick world. Health is not just about what you put into your system, ladies and gentlemen, in the form of food. Although, eating a healthy diet and taking the medicinal mushrooms and getting the magnesium and all this stuff is essential. But it in no way, shape, or form encapsulates the entirety of what it takes to be, again, as healthy as you can in a very sick world, a very out of alignment world. So lighting is the foundation of life, ladies and gentlemen. Lighting and grounding. At least that's my opinion. And many health practitioners are just pushing protein powders and alkaline water and all this other nonsense. They're not addressing sleep properly, they're not addressing lighting at all, and they're sure as hell not talking about grounding. So when the sun comes up in the morning, I ground myself to the earth and I let the sun into my eyes. At midday, I come out here and I ground myself again and I let light in to my eyes while I'm grounded again. And I don't really recommend letting the high noon sun enter into your eyes, plural, unfiltered, at least until you get used to this. So what I'll do is I'll stand under a tree like this, and you'll see you can move, as you're seeing on the screen right now, in a way where you can filter the light through the leaves to diffuse the light so it's less intense coming into your photoreceptors, into your eyes, and into your head. And last but not least, when the sun is going down, about the last 15 minutes before the sun falls behind everything and it's dark, I go outside, I ground myself, and I let that setting sun into my eyes. So we've got the garbage trucks here, ladies and gentlemen. Apologies for the obnoxious noise. And right when the sun goes down, about 5 to 7 minutes after, when it's completely dark, I'll throw my UVEX Skypers on and I'll leave them on until it's time to go to bed. And this will allow me to trick my brain, in essence, into believing that it's dark out so that I can start producing and secreting endogenous melatonin via the pineal pathway. Melatonin will rejuvenate your brain, your mind. It will improve your memory. And I'm not talking about supplemental melatonin, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking about endogenous melatonin production. When the right parameters are met, the body will produce its own melatonin. You cannot take melatonin supplements and have the same effect. Melatonin supplements, in my opinion, are incredibly dangerous, especially long term. I do not ever recommend using them, ladies and gentlemen, unless on occasional use to experiment with it as an onirogenic constituent. And onirogenic constituents are things that we use to induce prophetic dreaming and or lucidity while asleep. So onirogens are things like guayasa, Zosa dreamroot, blue lily, Calea zacatichichi, certain vitamins, galantamine. So there's a handful of things that we can use as onirogens. So until you get your internal switches managed, ladies and gentlemen, and your environmental ancestral sundial mechanisms and your circadian rhythm in track with the natural progression and setting of the sun, you're not going to get good rest. And until you get good rest, you're not going to have meaningful dreams, because your body is not going to be falling asleep based on endogenous melatonin production and the need to actually rejuvenate. It's going to be falling asleep because you're exhausted. When you do not block blue light when the sun goes down, ladies and gentlemen, when you expose your skin to all of the light from the CFLs, the LEDs, and the energy saving bulbs, you are sending signals not only into your eyes but into your skin that it's the wrong time of day. This leads to something known as endless summer syndrome, and endless summer syndrome leads to something that I've coined toxic light syndrome. And toxic light syndrome is the byproduct of having endless summer syndrome for over a year. And most of you guys, I would bet that 100% of the people watching right now, you've had toxic light syndrome for 99% of your life. Again, toxic light syndrome is something that I've coined, and it's a byproduct of having your hormones, neurotransmitters, melatonin, prolactin, all of your body's cycles thrown out of alignment through constant exposure to artificial lighting at the wrong times of day. Toxic lighting syndrome happens after 1 year of being exposed to this toxic lighting. So when you came out of the womb, after being in there, 8-9 months in darkness, you came out, and that night you started getting exposed to the artificial, or that night or that day, you started getting exposed to the artificial lighting, ladies and gentlemen. It started at a very young age. This is a very subtle form of health destruction, lighting, because it turns on and turns off certain switches within your body that are related to your hormones, your neurotransmitters, your glandular system, your thyroid, your brain, you name it. This cannot go underestimated, and it has for far too long. It's been kicked under the rug and considered quackery by so-called health experts that want to put you on a handful of different drugs to manage your high cholesterol or your high blood pressure or any of this other nonsense. Medical doctors, more often than not, don't heal things, ladies and gentlemen. They treat symptoms. They are in the business of symptom management, and instead of curing people of things and fixing their issues, they'd rather keep you plugged into a prescription for 30, 40, 50 years of your life to treat something that could be reversed potentially through changing your environment, what you're exposed to, what you consume, what you think, feel, etc. A lot of our issues relating to health are predicated upon our suboptimal environment. So again, the foundation of my system is lighting and grounding, clean water, magnesium, medicinal mushrooms, getting a mushroom complex into your system so that you can start stimulating your heart, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm not talking about the physical heart, although the medicinal mushrooms more often than not are very beneficial to the physical heart. I'm talking about the metaphoric heart. The mushrooms help open your heart, ladies and gentlemen. They help stimulate the heart chakra, the heart pylon, I like to call it. Helps you open up so that you can stop being so rigid. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, man, you seem pretty angry. Is your heart open? You guys have got things backwards. You think that spirituality is all about learning to find divinity in everything, even if it's evil. You guys are all about thinking that acceptance and tolerance is what spirituality is about, ladies and gentlemen. You clearly aren't very familiar with not only the Kundalini, ladies and gentlemen, but which is the crux of spirituality. It's what all spiritual metaphors, you name it, are about. It's about the Kundalini rising. But even you guys who are programmed by your dogmatic holy books, there's even the so-called ascended masters in those books. They were not just these peachy, lovey, ice cream handout kind of people. They came to more often than not to deliver a beating. So we have to use anger in a constructive way. Maynard from Tool, years ago in an interview, said something that was very profound. He said that hate is destructive, anger is constructive. You can use anger in constructive ways, ladies and gentlemen. It is so absolutely true. So when you start to become privy to what's actually going on in the Matrix, you're naturally going to have some anger, some frustration. You can mold it like clay and utilize it as a launching pad into your growth, or you can let it suck you down. But the problem with most people who claim to be spiritual and that are in the New Age movement, they have their heads up their asses and they do not research what goes on in this world behind the scenes. The child trafficking, all of the mind control experiments, MK Ultra, all the things that have been done against our will, the high altitude aerosol spray programs. You can go about being happy about it. You can get the hell out of my way. I have a mission here in life, and I'm not going to fucking pretend to be happy when we're being assaulted by our enemy, ladies and gentlemen. And don't ever try to tell me that because I have anger that I'm not a happy person. You guys have things backwards. Address your lighting, folks. So again, in the morning, more often than not, because the sun rises in the east right here, I'll touch this tree and I'll let some light into my eyes while I'm doing it, while I'm grounded. I do it 3 times a day. I'm outside a lot more than 3 times a day. And each time I come out here in these sets of 3, where I'm morning, midday, and evening, they're in 5-minute intervals. And what this will let you do, ladies and gentlemen, is it will allow you to get 15 minutes of grounding a day, which is what I recommend that you do as a bare minimum. And if you don't like grounding yourself to the earth barefoot, if you're worried about parasites, or if you're a hypochondriac, whatever, just buy yourself some grounding shoes. There's a handful of good quality grounding shoes on the market that you can wear that will shield your foot from the earth, and that will still let you be grounded. Native American moccasins are a perfect example of this, the leather moccasins. So, got a lot of green out here, ladies and gentlemen. We have the ability to conquer our old patterns, to be born anew every single day. Every day is an eternity, ladies and gentlemen, and we have the ability to massively shape-shift our lives every single day of our lives. But the choice is yours and yours alone. We came here to evolve. We came here to constantly grow. We did not come here to experience accelerated entropy, accelerated aging and decay. We only experience these things because we've been put into a box within a box within a box, and within that box we're in another box that we don't even know exists. We are trapped inside of our own minds. Just like Morpheus says in the first Matrix film, you are in a prison for your mind, or of your mind. You cannot taste it, touch it, smell it, or hear it. And what is the Matrix, ladies and gentlemen? The Matrix is a control grid that hoodwinks you into living an artificial life, where you separate yourself from your higher self and become a battery source or a fuel source for the Archon. Go watch the first Matrix film again. Wake up. Morpheus takes that battery and shows Neo, he turned you into this. They're using your energy. You've just forgotten, or that you were never taught, that the energy radiating out of your physical protoplasmic makeup is more precious than the most precious rare gems hidden within the Earth's caverns, ladies and gentlemen. You are a precious, precious miracle of life. But they've hoodwinked you into thinking that you're not. They've got you comparing yourself to all the other idiots out here, all these celebrities and all these false idols. It's insane what has happened to the collective consciousness. It is disgusting on so many levels. I try my best to have patience, but my God, this is insanity, ladies and gentlemen. This is absolute insanity. So it would be in your best interest, if you're interested in waking up, ladies and gentlemen, to realize things for what they are and to do your best to navigate through that, because living a lie never leads to anything good. I'm going to wrap this one up, you guys. Get your light. It's beautiful out today. There's the sun. Got beautiful trees around me, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. Never forget that you can accomplish so much in a day if you apply yourself. Peace be with you.